guys, thanks so much for joining us today. And I have got the fabulous Erwin Son here, who is a very good lawyer, may I add. And he specializes in wills and estates. So thanks, Erwin, for joining us.
Thank you, Sham. Thanks for having me on the program.
And you will
It's
remember...
an honor to be here.
Yes, Erwin is an old hand on the show. He's been... I say an old hand. I mean it in a nice way.
That's fine. I understood.
He's been on one of our From the Horse's Mouth episodes. If you haven't seen that one yet, go back and watch it. And so Erwin is here to share with us all about his experience and expertise, shall I say, about the South African in Australia Facebook groups and social media groups that he actually admins. So Erwin, can you tell us a bit more about all these groups? What kind of groups do you have in Australia?
Sure, we've got a whole lot of groups because we found that having one particular group isn't enough. So we've got different groups. We've got Aussie Australia, we've got Perthfontein, which deals with a lot of the South African food, the braais, the biltong, the wors, the milk tart. We've got...
This is making me really hungry.
We've got Proud South African in Perth, which is quite a general one. We've got South Africans in Perth. That's a very specific one. That's where people come and they put questions. What do we do? How do we do? Where do we do? Who? Where do I find a school? So that. There's no advertising in that group. It's like pure questions and answers. It's a very useful group. Then we've got South African Business Network in Perth, but it's not limited to Perth. So we've got South African Business Network in Melbourne, we've got in Sydney, we've got in Adelaide, we've got one in New Zealand.
Wow.
We've got right across Australia even. So that helps because there's a lot of South Africans scattered all over Australia. So we've got one in all of those main areas. And that's South African business networking, how to help each other in business-wise.
That's amazing. So how many groups in total, do you know?
No, I don't. I think there's about 7. No, there's more. Oh, there's tens of thousands of members.
Gosh.
I haven't. There's thousands. I mean, our one group, South Africans in Perth, got over 10,000.
Oh,
Aussie
wow.
has got over 10,000. So there's lots and lots of members.
So how many admins are you that are actually administering this?
Nelson and I started these groups 6-7 years ago. Nelson used to be in Perth. He's hit the big time. He's become one of the rich and famous boys. He's living in Queensland, Gold Coast. So he does the groups from the eastern states also, but then we've got a lot of moderators. We've got quite a few admin because these types of groups tend to get heated and the South Africans are very vocal. And
I just wanted to say, South Africans never give their opinion on anything, do they?
Whoa. If you post anything slightly controversial, the South Africans are there. Big time.
So, looking about the typical things that people post about in these groups, so what are the kinds of things that they talk about? Is it generally about moving to Australia or living here, or does it actually cover more general things as well?
You know what we get? So in South Africans in Perth, we get a little bit of all of that. We get people from South Africa asking us questions. How do we do this? How do we immigrate? Where do we need a job? What income do we need? How much do we need to live there? They've got no idea.
Yeah.
And that's fine. Our groups are there to give the advice. Then we've got lots of Australians here. The latest one is, where do I find a rental? Because the property market now, you can't get rentals. People are advertising, where do I get a rental? They'll pay anything. I mean, it's just we get general queries all the time, every day. And lots of people don't know where to get a good milk tart.
Important thing, very important, especially if you don't make your own milk tart like I do.
Wow, where's mine?
I'm sure I can organise something next time.
Next time.
And what are the typical things that they ask once they have actually arrived in Australia? Is it different to the things that people usually ask before they come to Australia?
Different. So when people arrive, they've got they come green. So for example, some of the question is, they arrive here, where do we live? Which suburb has got the most South Africans? Which is the cheapest suburb? Where is the suburb that's got a South African church or the South African minister? They ask, for example, which is the closest beach? where's the beach with lifesavers? We've got young kids.
Oh, yes. That's
We get stuff, and then rubbish collection. Australia is different.
You should get the council to pay you for all these answers to rubbish collection.
They don't know what, they're different. Each shire, they don't know what a shire is. So they ask me, what's a shire? Okay, a shire is a municipality. So every shire's got different bins. Some have got red, green, yellow. They arrive here, well, what do I do with these? They've got no idea what to do with the rubbish. Another thing is, how do they fill up petrol? There's no... Australia, we come and we put our own petrol in. And the other thing is, when I got here, I'm not ashamed to say, I did not know how to put air in my tyres.
I know, it's the same for me. I was like, oh!
I went to the garage and I called some guy and I said, dude, come here. And I said, do me a favour. I've just arrived here. How do I put air in my tyres? He says, no problem, mate. He's not my mate. He's no problem. And he showed me. So once you've been here, you know how to put air in your tyres. Australian lingo, very different, very different. They don't have robots. Where do I stop at the red robot? They call it lights.
That's funny.
If you're going to take a sick leave, you're going to take a sickie. So they don't know. It takes time. It takes time to get the Australian lingo. They want to know where to meet fellow South Africans because they feel at home, and that's fine because they can talk, and that's great. You know what I mean? It's great to connect. So they want to know which suburbs got the most South Africans. Cost of living, big one. They want to know how much do they need? How much can they afford? What do they need? What do they need money to spend on? Do they need private medical cover? They come green. They've got no idea. And that's fine. If I got a new country, I've got no idea.
Yeah.
Shops. They want to know which is shops. South African shops. They love going to South Africans love South African shops. They love going to South African restaurants. Of course.
Yes, well, I still do really enjoy the South African cuisine, so...
Sure. Converting South African driver's license. They come here with a South African license. They come here with an international license. What's the next step? How do I drive a car legally in Australia? Setting up a banking account. They don't know.
Wow.
I didn't know. I went to the bank and I said, I want to set up a bank account. They said, who are you? Where's your ID? I said, here's my South African... I've got no credit reference here. How do I buy a car? Australia's different. You need a credit reference. They're not going to lend you money. So these are... South Africans need to ask these questions, and they need a forum where they can get honest answers.
Great. Now, Erwin, one important question that I would like to ask, and I want your honest opinion.
Sure.
Is how have you seen the South Africans help each other through these groups?
Okay. People are not angels. People are people. Whether you are South African, Italian, Greek, a kind person is going to help you. Don't make the mistake, and lots of people do. They're thinking just because you're South African means other South Africans are going to help you. It's not going to happen. It's simply not going to happen. If I go, these Italians here, they don't help each other. So there are, of course, many thousands of South Africans that will genuinely help you. But there are also other people, and it's quite common, especially among South Africans. They want, because they may have been here for a time, and they want other people to go through the same experience and difficulties that they have had. So they don't want you to have it easy. They want you to do your time. So in other words, they want you to suckle. They want you to battle, because just like they battle, they want you to battle too. My advice is, we've got these groups. We've got good people like you. We've got lots of people who will give you honest advice. If you can find somebody that will take you under their wing, South African or not, does not matter. That is the person who's going to help you. Because South Africans, you may be a threat to other South Africans. There's a thing called the tall poppy syndrome. Okay, I've always heard about this tall poppy syndrome. I didn't actually know if such a thing existed. So yesterday I went onto Google and I typed in tall poppy syndrome. And it came up as being especially prevalent in Australia and New Zealand. What that means is people want poppies to grow at the same height, at the same speed. They don't want one poppy to grow quicker than another one. So if you get a South African family who see that another South African is suddenly rising and he's becoming a threat to you and he's going to take over your business, he's a threat to your job, that person is not going to help you, South African or not. Okay?
Yeah.
But South Africans generally try and help. They will help. They love to help. But when it comes to serious stuff like your job and all that, you have to find someone that's really going to take you under their wing.
So, with all this information that you see that comes through all these Facebook groups, what are the top things that people struggle with the most to settle in? Like, is there a specific 1 or 2 or 3 things that you've seen that people really don't know what to do or find their feet?
There's a lot of things, especially what I went through. So Australia is a country full of red tape. They're known to be full of red tape, which is a good thing. South Africans South Africa do things in the South African way. So the South African way is not necessarily the Australian way. In fact, it's not the Australian way.
Well, which is why we're here, because we want to be in Australia.
Correct. So there's a lot of red tape, and you follow the red tape. It's simple. For example, I love dogs. In South Africa, dogs can roam all over the place. In Australia, you're not allowed to have a dog on the street. There's small things. So when you're in Australia, you do things the Aussie way. Don't come here and assume, hey, I'm a South African, I'm going to teach Aussies how to do it. It's not going to work.
Yeah.
I can tell you now it's not going to work. Yeah. South Africans come on there if they try and do that.
Yeah.
If you follow the rules, you follow the game, you play the game on the Australian rules, you'll be fine. It's a good country.
And so are there some more things, Erwin, that they struggle with?
Yes, finding a job. It's actually quite difficult to find a job in Australia. Across the board. Because whether you Australia, New Zealand, South African, it's difficult. People are fighting for jobs. So that's another thing that people are battling with, especially during this COVID pandemic and all of that. That's a problem. The other thing that people have a problem with is making money. It sounds it sounds basic, but it's hard to make $1 in Australia. It's actually very hard to make $1 because
I have to say, people in South Africa, I've seen this often where they think that we just sit back and money just rolls in. No, you still got to work hard, you know?
It's hard.
Like in South Africa, you got to work hard. In Australia, you got to work hard too. It's just fair here.
Correct. But it's a good quality of life.
Yes.
So when you do earn $1, which is very difficult, people battle, especially if they come here and they lose their job. There's lots of South Africans that come here on a sponsorship visa. And I've had lots and lots of those. And the business or the employer tells them they are no longer required. That's a nightmare for these poor families. That's an absolute nightmare because they have to go back.
Yeah, that's very scary. So those are the top things that they struggle with. What are the things that they really enjoy once they've moved to Australia?
Australia is beautiful. The South Africans, once they've been here for a while, they love the security. I mean, even though it's hard to make money, you don't need a lot of money. There's lots and lots of things for free. So, for example, the lifestyle, the beaches, the picnics, the parks. In Australia, you can go to a park and use they've got free barbecues. They give you free gas. You can go and have your meals in a park. So the people love the security. They love not having high walls and big dogs and electrified fence. They love the fact that their kids can ride to school. Like in South Africa in the olden days, I used to walk to school, ride to school.
Yeah.
There's crime all over the world. There's crime in Australia. I don't think there's no crime here, but there's not a lot of dangerous crime. So people are not going to come into your house and shoot you. There's lots and lots of teenagers, lots of drug crimes where they'll steal your handbag and they'll break in and try and take your TV, of course. But people love that. And it's a security, it's a peace of mind thing.
Yeah. So are there any other things that they do enjoy? You said so they like security, but are there any other things that stand out to you specifically?
It's generally the lifestyle. No matter what you earn, it's the life. I found it's the quality of life. It's a very, very good quality of life, and a lot of it is due to the red tape because even people don't like the red tape. It's there to protect you.
Yes, and that's one thing that I've seen that people also say a lot about with my interviews that I do.
Sure.
They complain about the red tape, but then on the other hand, that's exactly why we're here because things happen the way it should and the way that the law wants. or determines it should happen.
Correct.
So Owen, tell us a little bit more about the Business Support Network. You mentioned earlier that there are some groups around businesses. How does that work? And is it all only for South Africans and South Africans helping South Africans?
Okay, it's a good question. Those groups are specifically for South Africans. We try and get South Africans to help South Africans. We do not allow anyone who's not South African onto those groups. Okay. Some of them slip through the creeks and we get rid of them. We really want South Africans to help South Africans. And they don't, so we encourage it. So on those groups, people can pay, and these groups are across Australia, as I said, Auckland, all over Sydney, Melbourne, Gold Coast, Queensland, all over the place. So people can post on these groups. They ask questions. I need an electrician. I need a South African electrician. I need a South African plumber. I need a South African lawyer. South Africans, and rightfully so, want to deal with South Africans. So for example, I can talk for myself. South Africans like a South African lawyer. I've practiced in South Africa. I'm practicing here. I get a lot of South Africans who I do a lot of wills for across Australia. And they come. I had this one couple who came with a South African will in Afrikaans. They gave me this Afrikaans will and they said, Owen, they were panicking. They were holding on to this will for you can't believe it was their life. So they said to me, this will was drafted by my bank manager in the Free State. And he said, my bank manager said, when I get to Australia, this is how the will must be done. So I say to them, whoa, you know what? When you come to Australia, you have to let some things go. South Africa can be in your heart, 100%. My parents are buried there, so I had my best years in my life. But you have to let some things go. If you want a will drafted in Australia, it must be done by a lawyer, not a bank manager in the Free State. Okay? It cannot be. Only lawyers can draft wills. So I explained to them, listen, whoa. I said, listen. This is how we do it here. Leave your bank manager in the Free State. That's fine. How we do it, we do it like this.
Yeah.
So South Africans feel comfortable with dealing with South Africans. South Africans are very highly qualified. South Africans work hard. I use a South African vet. You know what I mean? Yeah. So of course because they're competent.
Yeah.
So that's what the business group is there for, to put people in touch with other fellow South Africans. If you don't want to deal with another South African, go get up in the Yellow Pages. I don't think it exists anymore, but do it like that.
Oh, that's true.
That's what that's
you
for.
Can do Google Yellow Pages. Yeah. Otherwise, the very, very good business network.
But that's what that's for, and it works well.
So do you guys have some get-togethers still, or has COVID changed all of it?
No, good question. Used to have lots of get-togethers, hundreds and hundreds of people. With COVID, people, I think we had one about 10 people, so we're not doing it anymore. Once people have all been vaccinated, then we can start to have these meetings again.
Have you been vaccinated?
Yes, I have.
Well done. Well
yes,
done,
I have.
Owen was telling me earlier, because he's a frontline worker, so to say, goes into the hospitals. He's been I
do a lot of wills for people in hospitals.
And that's why you were able to be one of the first people to be vaccinated in WA. So, yay. Okay, so Owen, what in terms of the percentage of people that actually move to Australia, the South Africans that move here, we've seen people coming to Australia, then they go back to South Africa, then they come back to Australia again. Can you give us an idea of what's the percentage of people, of South Africans that come here originally that go back? And then secondly, how many of those that go back come to Australia again?
Very, very small. I think the people that come here use most of their life savings to get here. If they come here for the wrong reasons, or they got no chance, or they come on the wrong visa, or they come on hard times. For example, their sponsor decides not to sponsor them anymore. They have to leave the country. It's sad to see these people. I think it's less than 5%. I don't see many South Africans going back unless they're super stupid. Why would you want to go back?
Yeah.
This is paradise. This is absolute paradise. There's millions of people trying to get out of South Africa. So the people that go back, unless they've got specific reasons, they've got a sick parent, they've got a sick family, and they need to care for someone different. But less than 5% go back. How many go back and come back? I haven't seen any.
Okay.
I haven't seen any. I think it's too expensive.
I have actually seen a couple of people, but that's it's few and far between. But because as you say, it costs so much money to move here, and then if you end up going back and you come back this way again, it's like, why? Just look at other people's mistakes 100%. And don't do the same.
Correct.
And count your blessings, people. Oh gosh, as you say, this is paradise. You still get difficulties everywhere in life, but that's not based on the country that you live in necessarily. It's just life.
Correct.
Life have curveballs that it throws to you.
Ups and downs.
You have a motor vehicle accident, it happens whether you're in South Africa or here. You're going to have an accident potentially.
Correct.
Correct. Yeah.
You know what, as Mandela said, life is mountains. You have to climb the mountains, and you go up the mountains, you climb down the mountains. I did comrades, I've done a few comrades. You climb up, you run up those things, and you run down them. That's what life is about. The people that go back is very sad. Normally they don't want to go back. And it's very sad. I've helped one or two of them. We to try and get them through on the refugee status. They got kicked out.
Oh, it's hard.
The courts kicked them out.
Okay, so for those of the South Africans who are watching this, our viewers, who would love to come, what are your top tips to them on preparing for the migration journey? Okay,
my top tip is come. If you can come, make a plan. Okay, that is the top tip. Okay, Australia it's bliss, it's heaven, it's paradise. Other thing is join our groups. Our groups are there to help you. We don't make money from you. It's free. We run these groups for free. We put up with people's fighting for free.
You're a good person, Owen.
We put up with volcanoes for free. Wow. We put fires out every day for free on the groups. Okay, so join our groups, because if you've got any questions, put them up in South Africans in Perth. How do I do? You will get hundreds and hundreds of answers. Choose some of the answers you like. Reject some of the answers you don't like. If you're not sure, message me privately. You can message Nelson D'Souza privately. You can message Sham. She'll tell you. We'll give you honest advice. We're here to help you.
Yes.
We don't need... Some other tips are... migration agent may or may not help you. If you can do it on your own, do it. I did it on my own. If you need a migration agent, use a migration agent. If you don't know a migration agent, ask. We'll tell you. Yeah. We only have South African migration agents on our groups. Ask.
But the point is, you don't have to use one if you don't want to.
Of course you don't. I didn't.
That's right.
I didn't.
Yeah, I also did my own application.
What do you need? If it's a simple matter and you meet the criteria, what's the big deal? Just do it.
Yeah.
And you got people to ask along the way. So if you decide to do it on your own, if you don't know what to do, message me, message Sean, we'll help you. I mean, you know what I mean? We'll give you advice, or we'll put you in touch with people who can help you if we can't help you. The other thing is research and learn as much as you possibly can. Knowledge is power. Do your research. That's really, really important.
And thank goodness for internet, because these days you can just, sit at in your bed if you want, on your laptop or on your phone on the train or wherever.
No. And the other thing, it sounds very basic, when you want to come to Australia, get a job. You wake up, get a job. Who else is going to support you?
Yes.
The Aussies are not going to support you. They don't want you. They're not going to put you on Centrelink. Get a job, okay? Because if you're going to come here without a job, what do you expect? It's simple, but it's people are not aware of this. They arrive here and then they expect other people to support them. It's not going to happen. People are battling here themselves. Do the maths. Do your arithmetic. If you don't know how much you're going to need to live on, ask. We've got groups for this. Ask. I've got 3 kids. I need my kids to go to school. Do I need private medical cover? Ask. You'll have hundreds of people giving you advice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just ask. The other thing is, when you bring a container of the correct stuff.
What are those?
For example, you're not going to bring South African plugs. Electricity is different.
Yes.
It sounds different. You're not going to... I brought a Weber Braai and it didn't work here. I had to go to Barbecues Galore and say, excuse me, I'm from South Africa. This thing doesn't work. So do your homework. I mean, but come. by all means, come. But the more research you do, the more you learn about Australian lingo. Ask, join our groups. We're here to help you for free. Join.
Thank you
And
so
come.
much. Yes, come, because you never know when they might change the rules. And that's the thing. The migration
Correct.
rules change any day, any time.
Every day.
No, every year. And you cannot say, oh, but yesterday or last year it was like this. It's like, sorry, mate, too late. That's what they'll say to you. Owen, it's been absolutely fun talking to you.
Oh, I enjoy coming here. I love
been
being.
so good.
I feel I'm privileged to come onto your program.
Oh, you see,
Thank you,
good
John.
people like Owen, he does such an amazing job with helping South Africans settle in, get more questions answered, putting fires out, as you heard. And, you know, we've covered so many topics today, but there is so much more that we can be talking about. And within each of these points that Owen has raised, there are so much more that we could be saying, but we don't want to make this video too long. So if there's anything specific that's on your heart or that you would like to hear more about, hit us up in the comments below. And then Owen and I are always looking for a good excuse to get together again. So let us know down below and we'll see you in the next one.
I want my milk tart next time.
Oh, yes. I'll do it.
And
I'll do it. I
boerewors,
promise.
where's the boerewors?
Give me your milk tart ideas in the bottom, please. Recipes. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye, guys.
Bye. Bye.